Hello, welcome to natemareflix. I am Nate, you are you, and as I am filming this, it is Halloween, my favorite holiday and my favorite movie series. So I wanted to do something to pay respects to the boogeyman himself, Michael Myers, today. So we're going to look at each of the Halloween movies, and I'm going to pick out my favorite kill from each movie. Now, as always, I encourage you to go down in the comments section and hit me with your favorite kills. Let me know which one I am wrong about. What did I overlook? We'll have it out down there in the comment section. But let's get this started. We're going to go in chronological order. Let's start with The Night He Came Home, the indelible classic Halloween from 1978. A lot of iconic moments to choose from, but I'm going to go with the killing of Bob. It turns out Michael Myers was just as disgusted by Bob as all the rest of us. Bro, what do you mean you're gonna rip off little Lindsay Wallace's clothes? But since Chris Hansen was only 19 in 1978,
you want to explain yourself? Grab that towel right there, please.
It falls on Michael Myers to catch this predator, and catch him he does as he lifts him up off his feet and stabs him, pinning him into the wall. And Michael's just as shocked as I am that that knife was long enough to go through his body into that wall and still support all of his weight. I have no idea how it works. Michael doesn't either. Look at that head tilt. For Halloween 2, I was going to choose Michael forcing Nurse Karen to go bobbing for apples in that hot tub as my kill. But considering Nurse Karen decided to go in her birthday suit for Halloween, I guess there's two big reasons I can't show that kill here on YouTube. So instead, I'm going to bend the rules. I'm not going to show you a Michael kill. I'm going to show you Michael getting killed. I think his demise in the climax of Halloween 2 is an iconic defeat. Michael corners Laurie and it looks like our girl is dead, but little did he know that she's a dead eye and he ends up with two dead eyes. Parallel trails of blood tears start to stream down his mask and he starts swinging wildly at open air, hoping to connect with Laurie. Ultimately, Dr. Loomis steps in and saves the day, making the ultimate sacrifice, which is a very fitting conclusion to these two characters. A giant fireball erupts, the whole wing of the hospital is ablaze, and in an incredible stunt, Michael goes staggering down the hallway until he collapses and his mask begins to incinerate. I have my issues with Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, but one thing I have to admit is that the kills are outstanding. And I love that they address with my favorite kill, what would happen if you were to try to sabotage one of the Silver Shamrock masks? What if you went investigating and picked up a chip, as the lady neighboring Chalice in the motel does? Well, we find out that what that will get you is a freaking laser beam to the face. Holy hell! Look how it absolutely just tore her mouth apart, exposed gums and teeth, eyes bloodshot and bulging out of her freaking face. And oh great, now we have bees? 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 Yes, bees! Unless it's not a bee and it's actually a spider and you're completely misremembering things, which happens. Anyway, back to the video. Halloween 4. I love Halloween 4, and the competition for best kill is stiff in this movie. I thought about going with the redneck, getting his, redneck torn apart. I thought about going with Brady, getting lifted up off the ground and having his neck and or skull absolutely crushed by Michael Myers. I thought about the guy getting a thumb into the forehead, but I decided I had to go with the Kelly Meeker kill. Kelly's shirt may have said cops do it by the book, but Michael Myers says fuck the police and their daughters too, as he recreates the Bob kill, not with a knife, not with a blade of any kind, with a freaking shotgun, and pins her into the wall. When Kelly and Brady got interrupted, I thought her chances of getting penetrated were absolutely gone, but Michael Myers had other ideas. For Halloween 5, I would say there's not nearly as many good kills as there are in 4. And so I'm going to go with the double takedown that Michael achieves in the barn. Spitz and Sammy are trying to get it on, and Michael does his little voyeuristic thing before he comes up and goes, trying to get fucked? Nah, get forked, pitchforked that is, as he drives it through Spitz's back. Sammy gets up, lives to survive a little bit longer, only to find out that the Blue Oyster Cult was full of shit. You should fear the Reaper. Look at the size of that scythe. Looking at Halloween 6 Curse of Michael Myers, I have to go with the death of John Strode. John Strode might be one of the most miserable sons of bitches in the entire franchise. He hates his family, he hates Halloween, he hates the neighbor kids. We even see him hacking down a sign of Michael Myers in his yard at one point. He is not about it. He does not believe in the boogeyman. So when he goes to inspect a flooding basement, and finds Michael Myers there, imagine how shocked he must have been. I mean, look, his mind is blown. Now look, this kill makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, but do you really think I care? Look at it. I am always down for a badass head explosion. Bring it. Halloween H2O. This was one of the hardest entries to pick a kill for. It's a largely bloodless film. There's not a lot to choose from here, but I'm going to go with that time Laurie Strode killed an innocent paramedic who was forced to cosplay as Michael Myers. I mean, look at him. He's all like, what? How did I get here? Why am I pinned to this tree? Who are you? Hey, what's the axe for? Ma'am, hey, ma'am, can I get a hand? What do you mean you want head? Oh, you want my head? Fuck that. Ah! Yeah, obviously, if you read this as like a great character study and a fantastic narrative about Laurie's fate as she's just crossed in the stars with Michael Myers and her accepting that and taking claim of her own life, finally overcoming her trauma, and that she lops the head off of her brother, then fantastic. But now looking back after we've seen Resurrection, it does look like it may have been planned for this to be a fake out. I mean, he is definitely like, oh, what? Oh, what's going on? Oh, Halloween Resurrection. Well, the kills of Halloween Resurrection largely suck, just like the movie, but I'm going to go with the redhead who gets chased through that dark, dim, dingy tunnel beneath the Myers house. We get to see her point of view of the whole thing thanks to a camera fixed on the side of her head, and we get lots of looks into Michael in the act of the kill. This franchise makes so much about his dark eyes, the devil's eyes, the blackest eyes, and here you get a bunch of looks of him through the perspective of a victim, which I suppose is neat. Ultimately, he lifts her up and penetrates her from behind. What? She gets impaled from behind. Terrible verb choice on my part. Pretty good kill. Like having the vantage point. That's neat. Kind of cool. Kind of good for Halloween Resurrection. Unfortunately, having this weird tunnel under the Myers house makes absolutely no freaking sense. But I guess it's in line with Halloween Resurrection and being dumb as fuck. Rob Zombie's Halloween remake is up there with H2O in terms of it being an extremely difficult movie to pick a best kill for. I have now replayed all of the kills from this movie a few times, and I've come to the conclusion that this movie is about getting as many kills as possible, but not necessarily making them all that imaginative or creative or preternatural. They were all pretty grounded, just, hey, this victim got stabbed. So I guess that leaves me with the showdown in the bathroom between Michael Myers and Joe Grizzly, bitch. I guess Michael was just not content to let this poor man pass this beast in peace. So the two get rowdier than Ben Roethlisberger in a bathroom stall. It gets frantic, it gets hectic. I like the way the camera movement adds to that like frenetic pace of this scramble, of this scuffle. You gotta give some props to Joe Grizzly. He's nobody's bitch. But ultimately, Michael Myers is Michael Myers, and he's a big-ass hulking man in this version of Halloween. And so he will claim Joe Grizzly's coveralls, even though I don't know that I would want them after we know what type of condition Joe's stomach was in. You understand what I'm saying? All right, Rob Zombie, Halloween 2. We've had some fun on this video. We've told some jokes. We've been quippy. We've been snarky. But it's time to get real, y'all. Let's talk about the saddest, most sentimental, most heartbreaking, stomach-churning kill in the entire Halloween franchise, the death of Annie Brackett in Halloween 2. Say what you will about Rob Zombie, but he really captures so much human emotion in these scenes. The slow-mo is a nice touch as it really prolongs the agony, and it feels like a nice farewell to Danielle Harris and a thank you for everything we've seen her do. But her inclusion in this moment makes it all the more heart-wrenching because we've been watching her in this franchise since she was a small child. You see her room in disarray. You see what has happened to that bathroom. There's just blood splattered all over the tile and the wall and the mirrors. Annie is almost unrecognizable and completely blood-soaked. But the worst is yet to come. She's not even dead. We are treating this as like an actual brutal attack. And we're going to see what that means for the victim and her friends and her family. She's not dead. This isn't a slasher movie where you get stabbed in the belly and you just kill over instantaneously. No, the lights are still on, even if they are dimming rapidly. She is still very much feeling her organs fail. She is feeling her body go cold as she bleeds out. It's really kind of hard to watch because it is handled so effectively, especially once Lori goes in there and finds the friend that she failed, the friends that she has been so awful to for the entire runtime of this movie. And if you think watching Lori scream at the heavens for this happening and the fact that her brother has done this to one of the few people she had as a support system, then man, prepare yourself for when Brad Dourif brings the house down. He goes in there and does a perfect portrayal of an absolutely ruined father who for the second time has failed to protect and save his daughter. Last time, by some miracle, she was able to survive, but her body was badly scarred. Her life forever changed. And so he went to great lengths to try to save her, and now you're watching this completely ruined, devastated man just wilt down to nothing and to be ruined. It's just a remarkable look at what the reality is. We all talk about, oh, that was a brutal kill. That was crazy, man. That was so violent. Yeah. And we don't really treat the characters like people. It was interesting to see a movie for once treat the character like real people. Alas, we have reached the David Gordon Green trilogy, and for Halloween 2018, it may be really tempting to go with the kills that happen in that long tracking shot. But to me, that scene is so wonderful because it's more about the stalking and the way that Michael Myers lurks through the suburban landscape of Haddonfield. The kills themselves, one kind of happens behind a wall where you can't see the woman being hammered in the head. And then the other one involves a digital effect, a little CGI. And so obviously that kind of ruins it. I can't call that my best kill. So I'm going to go with the killing of Oscar. They do a great job of setting up this scene to where he's isolated and locked into this backyard that has the wrought iron fences up and it has the motion detectors. And suddenly he sees a strange figure, the silhouette of Michael Myers over there, not moving. Oscar even comments on, hey, bud, you're acting, really strange. What's going on, man? And then the motion detectors go out because Michael has been so statue-like and so still. All you can hear is his breathing. He feels imminent. And then he moves just enough that those lights flash back on and you see him spike the blade into Oscar. Oscar tries to get out of dodge and he runs for the fence. But his cheap, tacky Halloween costume gets caught on the fence. And then he gets another stab for his troubles. And as the life is starting to drain out of it, you may think that's it, that we're going to cut away. But no, Allison returns to check on her friend to try to save him. And finally comes face to face with the boogeyman that her grandma has ranted and raved about for all of her life. And man, look at Oscar. Look at that fence going up through his chin, coming out of his mouth. It's grotesque, it's gnarly, it's gory, but all in the best way. Halloween Kills certainly gives me a lot to choose from. That did make it difficult. I think a lot of people might be tempted to go with one of the firefighter kills or all of the firefighter kills. I do think that's an iconic scene and Michael looks badass in the way that he's shot in it, but it's a little too John Wick for me. I'm going to go with the killing of Big John. The way Michael appears behind him, grabs him and stabs up into the armpit. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, but when I saw it in theaters, it just put a jolt through me. And then Michael just manhandles him, spins him around, turns him like a Mortal Kombat fatality, and drives his thumbs into the man's eyeballs. And you see the blood streaming out of his head. And just when you think it can't get any worse than that, you see the eyeballs kind of pop and fall out of his cranium looking globby and gelatinous. It made me literally in the theater be like, oh. And that is impressive. Amongst all the other kills and Halloween Kills, that was the one that literally made me like, I think I'm gagging right now. Halloween Ends, our last entry. I don't think Halloween Ends gets enough credit for how many great kills are in this movie. You may not like Corey Cunningham, but the boy's a bit of an artist when it comes to this whole murder thing. Yeah, Michael's prodigy is really picking up the game and running with things. I am going to say that, you know what? I've had enough of people using their platform or their voice to be divisive, to put out all sorts of information that is misleading and false, to drive divisiveness and to ruin communities. And I'm, of course, referring to the DJ in Haddonfield who Corey absolutely murks the ever-living fuck out of. I mean, look at how this guy looks by the end of things. And take away his voice, oh, he does it metaphorically and he does it quite figuratively. Look at his tongue going around on the record. This to me is easily the best kill in this movie. I was tempted to go with the one where he puts that blowtorch into the person's mouth and just lights the inside of their head on fire, but it's a little bit out of focus. This, you get a lot of great effects, and that guy really did kind of tap into something with me that is just annoying about pretty much everything in the news nowadays, and everything annoying about influencers, and annoying about some folks in the Halloween community, if I'm being quite honest. So that's why it is my selection for Halloween Ends. There you go. Those are my picks for the best kills from each of the Halloween movies. What do you think? Do you agree with my picks? Let me know your picks down below. What is the best kill in the entire Halloween franchise? Let me know. I think that'd be a cool thing to talk about. And if you enjoyed this video, you're still here, then go ahead and hit subscribe, because clearly we see things the same way and you think that I'm at least an all right type of guy. Have yourself a wonderful Halloween. And if it's not Halloween when you're watching this, well, still go out and have yourself a fantastic day. I'm Nate for natemareflix saying that's a wrap.